Hey guys, Chris here, and I built this portable bandsaw stand. It's actually built off a design from a gentleman's video on YouTube, New Start 49, and he didn't give a whole lot of detail about it, but I watched the video multiple times and figured out how he had done it and built this stand from that. And I thought I would just go into a little bit more detail of how it's made, just to help anybody else out who's looking to make a portable bandsaw stand like this one. This one is made for a Bauer, a Harbor Freight Bauer portable bandsaw.
Okay, and here's making a cut with the bandsaw on the stand. You can see this is a 2" by 2" piece of steel. I think it's 14 gauge, and makes a real clean square cut. I did speed this clip up just a tad bit. As far as the supplies I used for this project, pretty simple list. I used 1" by 1" square tubing, and also used 3/16" plate steel, and used that for the platform. Also used it for the tab at the back of the stand and the hinges. Used a U-bolt there at the back to hold the bandsaw in place around the handle, and then at the top I tapped the top of the bandsaw and just put 2 screws there. They're number 8 screws, 1/2 inch. I think they were 32 thread count. And then I also used clevis pins to act as hinges. The clevis pins slid through those tabs and through the bracket, and then there's a little cotter pin that holds those in place, and also use some little end caps there that went into the end, just make it look a little bit more finished. As far as assembling it together, the top arm just fits into those tabs in the base, and you have to align those up so the pins are going to go in straight. That's why I tapered those pins up at the on the ends of them, just to make them slide in a little bit easier. The holes are pretty much exactly the same size as the pin, so that bracket won't have any play in it. And here I'm just tapping it in with a mallet. As far as mounting the bandsaw in that top arm, I just set it in there. There's a little tab on the bottom that you set it into. It's a pretty snug fit. I built it to just fit as snug as I could. And then at the top here, drilled a couple holes in that top plate, drilled a couple holes into the bandsaw itself, and tapped those holes, and so I can mount it that way. The holes in the top plate are a little bit larger, so I can have a little bit of play and adjust the bandsaw a little bit there. And then I secured the bottom with a U-bolt. It fits around that handle, secures that in place, just keeps that end of the bandsaw, the weight supported there. And you may have noticed when I was putting those screws in the top that I had to take the handle of the bandsaw off to fit it into the stand. I just screw that back in once it's mounted in the stand.
Okay, and just to give some dimensions on how this all works, the base is 28 inches long. If I did it again, I'd probably make it about 2 inches shorter, but I do like this little gap where I can use it as a handle. So 28 inches long. As far as the width, these cross beams are 8 inches, but they're welded on the inside, so the total width is 10 inches wide. This little platform here that I just clear coated is 12 inches long, about 10 inches wide, and I'm using a little vise, drill press vise, to hold my material in place. As I said, everything is 1" square tubing, except for the pieces that I did with this 3/16" plate. This platform, the little tabs that I'm using for the hinges here, I just cut these to be like 1.5" by 2 inches high, and drilled these clevis pins, using the clevis pins in as the hinges, and it's 8 inches from the back to where the clevis pin is drilled in. And then as far as the top piece, this piece is 15 inches from the base. This piece here's 15 inches long. I just cut a piece of 3/16 inch plate, 1 inch wide, and it's 10 inches long to be the top here. And then you can see that I just drilled holes through the top and tapped in to the actual bandsaw to thread that, so the screws will thread right into this top bar on this Bauer bandsaw. And then, so that's how I attach the top. As far as attaching the bottom, it's with this U clamp, and that just holds us in place. So the only modifications that had to be made to the bandsaw are these 2 holes that I drilled into the bandsaw itself. Let's see, as far as any other measurements that I wanted to mention, again, here in the back of this bracket, this piece is 8 inches wide, with making it a total width of 10 inches, just like the base. This piece here is 15 inches long, and then the height of this leg here is 8 3/8 inch. So from the base up to where it comes into the bottom of this up and down bar, as well into here, that's 8 3/8 inches. So giving it an extra inch of total height, being 9 3/8 inches. And really that's it. I'm just using these clevis pins as the hinges. They pop in and out pretty easily. I did with my grinder, I just beveled these edges so they go in a little bit easier, because this is a pretty tight tolerances here, because I didn't want it to wiggle around. And so it's pretty much made to fit exactly the width of this. There's no play in this at all. And then of course you can also stand it up and use it vertical as well. And so it's made to stand up here with this U bracket. It sticks off the end a little bit, so it won't get in the way when you do want to use it. Vertically. So you can see there's a little bit where it sticks off the end, so this U bracket can go through. And the U bracket is, I think it was 4.5 inches long by 2 inches. And I did have to cut it off a little bit. It was a little bit too long. I cut off maybe 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch to get it to fit right with the bandsaw. And that's really it. Anyway, hope that helps anyone who's interested in building this style. Again, you know, the credit of the design goes to New Start 49. He created it, but as I said, he didn't give a whole lot of detail of how he did it. So I just thought I'd make a quick video and give you some additional detail. Thanks for watching.